Don't you just love it when new stuff arrives in the post? So this is something that I have been wanting for a while, probably over a year now. I didn't really see the point of buying it during the summer, so now is the perfect time to buy it, so I went ahead and ordered one. Can you guess what it is? Pause the video and comment if you think you know what it is. It's massive. Yep, a CSG. So this is the one from ProQ, the cold smoke generator. So I did some smoked cheese last year. I loved it, but this year my goal is to try and get some bacon on the go. So these are an essential bit of gear for that. But that's not what this video is about. We are doing a Q&A today, so let's jump into that. Hi everyone, this is James from Barbechoo.com and welcome back to another episode on the channel, and today we are doing another Q&A. So I really enjoyed the last one we did, so I put the question out on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram asking for your questions, and a few of you got in touch, so we're going to go ahead and try and answer some of those now. If I don't get to them all, I apologise. I will do more Q&As in future, but for now we'll just jump straight into the questions. So Phil Mullins1 asks on Instagram, what's the best charcoal barbecue to start off with? Would it be the Weber Master Touch? Yep, the Weber Master Touch is a great barbecue, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a Master Touch. Any of the kettle barbecues are great. Try and go from, if you're wanting to go Weber, go from the original upwards. The compact ones that are the lower end don't come with hood thermometers, and the cooking bowl's too shallow in them. So anything from the original upwards will get you that nice deep charcoal bowl, and also they have the hood thermometers and stuff on them as well. Definitely recommend going 57cm rather than the 47cm ones. You won't regret it. There's plenty of space on that barbecue. That being said, there are other great barbecues out there that aren't Weber. One that has tweaked my interest recently is the Napoleon barbecue. I've seen Nathan over at Kung Fu Barbecue has got his hands on one. I think it's the Rodeo Pro. They come with the cast iron grates in them. They have the hinge lids so that you don't have to. The Master Touch is the roll-off lid holder. The Napoleon has the hinge lid, so I really like the look of those. They seem to be really well made. They're great quality. Similar price points as well, but so again it might be something else to have a look at if you don't necessarily want to go down the road of Weber. So thanks for your question. We'll go for another one off Instagram. Artist BBQ asked a few questions, so we'll try and run through them all quickly. Most challenging dish you've ever cooked? My most nervous dish I've ever cooked would definitely be Christmas dinner. Just because of the pressure on you. It's quite a big meal. You tend to have a lot more people around at the house, and everybody has their idea of what a perfect Christmas dinner is, so if you mess it up, bad things are going to happen. I'm not sure. I'm quite a simple cook, so I haven't done anything that's really technical, or I suppose again brisket's one of them things that takes a little while to get right, so that might have been the most challenging dish, but by no means was it a technical experience. It was just a bit hit or miss whether I got it right or not. Most far out ingredient in your pantry? Again, I'm such a simple cook, I probably don't have anything that's going to wow anybody. Longest cook you've ever done would be a 14-hour brisket. I've never done an overnight cook. I've always been far too nervous, but it might be quite a nice one to do on the channel sometime. But I've always been so nervous about going to bed and leaving the barbecue running. Even though I have the ThermoQ Wi-Fi, it has alarms on it. If anything happens, it'll wake me up. Nope, far too nervous. I can't leave it alone. So I've done 14 hours before, but that was getting up at the crack of dawn to put it on, and then it was ready for that night. Barbecue restaurant you would spend all your savings to visit? I suppose the holy grail for most would be Franklin's in Texas. So again, it's become world famous for sort of the best brisket out there. So I'd love to go over and visit there and have a look around the smoke rooms. Artists, I think you've been there, so a little bit jealous of that one. But the likes of Hangfire over in Barry in Wales, or the likes of Barbechoo as well. I've seen, again, Nathan has been there quite a bit and really seems to enjoy it. So some of those places I'd love to go and check out. But there's loads in America you could visit round, but definitely Franklin's would be the one for the sort of ultimate barbecue road trip. We'll go to Franklin's. So thanks for the question, artist. We'll jump over to Twitter now and try and take a couple. Patrick Toland has asked, when and how do I add more charcoal if I want to keep grilling small meat skewers for maybe a couple of hours? If you want a slightly longer burn time, you could probably try out briquettes rather than using lumpwood. But you should still be able to get a couple of hours burning out of good restaurant grade lumpwood. If you're using cheaper charcoal, it tends to be smaller pieces and it doesn't tend to burn as well. So try and invest in a better restaurant grade lumpwood charcoal, or try out a briquette. So a briquette should burn at a pretty constant temperature for sort of 2.5 to 3 hours. You can just add, provided your charcoal is decent charcoal and your temperatures are starting to drop a little bit, you can just add 1 or 2 lumps and they'll slowly light up and try and maintain that temperature. But I would recommend, if you can get away with a 2-hour burn time without having to add anything to it, briquettes are the way forward. And I know with restaurant grade charcoal I've had sort of 2.5 hours solid burn time on them as well. So maybe try switching up your fuel choice rather than trying to add more fuel in. So another one from Twitter then, Loose Coos Barbecue has asked, Thanksgiving is coming up, to inject or not to inject a turkey is the question. Personally, I brine my turkeys. So Christmas Eve, I will get them into a brine and leave them for a full 24 hours to the next morning. Then I'll lift them out and get them ready and get them onto the barbecue. That's a slightly longer process. Maybe if you haven't time to brine, injecting is a good way of getting moisture and flavour into that meat. You can either inject if you're short on time, or I find brining works really well, and it's definitely my preferred way of doing it. So Phil from Love to Barbecue has asked, if you were given £1,000 to spend on barbecue related kit over and above what you already own, what would you spend it on? The good old gear question. I don't know, barbecues wise, I'm going to try out one of them Napoleon kettles. They look quite nice. Or I would just save it and put it towards a Kamado Joe. I know from the last Q&A that that's the one, that's the dream barbecue. Either that, or I would just buy £1,000 worth of meat and really enjoy cooking and not feeling guilty about spending so much of it. So yeah, you can spend £1,000 on so much stuff, so many rubs and sauces you want to try, and so £1,000 doesn't last very long in the barbecue game. So thanks for the question, Phil. Okay, Kung Fu Barbecue, aka Nathan, has asked, what would be your dream bit of kit to get next? Same answer applies as the last Q&A. It's definitely the Kamado Joe. I will own that barbecue someday. It hasn't changed. Nothing else has come along since the last one to sway me over to it or sort of put me off it. It is definitely the one. So Smoking Yankees have asked on Instagram 2 questions again, one technical, one personal. Technical question, brine or injection? Personal question, why do people with beards make better barbecue? Right, technical question. It depends. I have talked about it again earlier in this video, but with the likes of turkeys, and I would say poultry in general, I prefer to brine. Some pork I will brine as well. Well, depends what it is. Pork shoulder I would inject, but I have brined pork loins and stuff before to get a lot of moisture into them. Red meat I would tend to inject. To be honest, I don't even know why I do it. It's just my personal preference. Definitely poultry, I like brining it or leaving it in there for a while. And I never tend to inject my poultry. So as for the beard question, I have no idea. I have never had a beard. I'd be terrible at growing a beard, so I guess I'll never know. Okay, we're on to our last question, and I've specifically saved this one for the last. It's from Paul Whittle on Facebook. First of all, Paul, I have to congratulate you on raising your head above the parapet and asking this question. There are plenty of people out there that would just keep it to themselves because they're too worried about what other people would say. So, here you go. For a newbie having a go at my first brisket on a 3-burner Genesis, what setup would you recommend? Cooking times, temps, rubs, sauces. Fantastic YouTube channel to keep posting. Thanks. Well, thank you, Paul. Yes, the good old brisket on a gas barbecue. There's many people would take a little bit of flack for that. Personally, I am happier that you're wanting to go out and try a brisket for the first time. It doesn't really matter to me what you're cooking it on. Really, the cooks are all similar. Cook times and temperatures are exact same on the barbecue. The only difference would be the way you get the smoke into the meat. You're not going to get that really heavy bark on a gas barbecue. Little secret, well, it might not be a secret, I've said this before I think in the channel. My first 2 briskets were cooked on a gas barbecue. So it's definitely worth a try. It's a really easy way of doing it. If you're a little bit worried about temperature control, the gas barbecues are perfect for it. So my setup, mine's a 3-burner barbecue as well. I had 1 burner on full and the other 2 off, and then the brisket was set over that 3rd burner to keep it as far away from that lit burner as possible. You then need to make some kind of smoking pouch. So you can either just use tin foil and wrap up soaked wood chips in them and set it on top of the flavorizer bar, or you can buy the actual smoker box that fits on top of the flavorizer bar from Weber. But if you just want to try it for the first time, the tin foil trick works perfectly. I have a video on smoking wood as well, and it shows sort of how to make that little tin foil parcel, so I'll link it up in the iCard thing. I've given up trying to remember what side the iCard's on, so it'll be up here somewhere. Rubs and sauces, just go for your favourites. Traditionally, brisket would be sort of, well, traditional Texas brisket, very sort of heavy with the salt and pepper. Add a little bit of garlic in there for a savoury flavour as well. With beef, I prefer nothing too sweet, but again, it is down to personal preference. Timings are maybe the only thing I can't help you with, because no 2 brisket cooks are ever the same. I've done 3 or possibly 4 now, and every one of them has gone over. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there was one of them was 14 hours. The gas ones did tend to go a little bit quicker. I'm not sure whether that's because the temperature was so much steadier or what the difference was, but the first one I done was quite a small one. I think it was sort of a 7 or 8 hour brisket. The next one was a full brisket, and I think it took maybe sort of 9 to 10 hours in the gas. So get up early in the morning, put it on, and aim to be ready 2 to 3 hours before when you actually want to serve it. That way if you go slightly over, there's a little bit of a buffer there, plus you want to allow for resting times, and you can hold that over, wrap it in foil, wrap it in a few heavy towels, put it into a cool box, and it will keep for a long time. Once again, thank you for asking the question. I'm sure there is loads of other people out there who want to know how to smoke a brisket on a gas barbecue, and they maybe just haven't had the guts to ask, so good on you for asking it. So that was a short little episode. I think we got through most of the questions. There might be 1 or 2 I didn't get to, but again, I apologise. We will do this again in the future. I have lots of exciting stuff coming up in the next few weeks, so if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I'll be making a few announcements maybe in a couple of weeks' time, so I definitely want you to be tuned in and ready for it. Let's just say we're going to be getting festive quite soon. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next episode.